Paulina walked out of the supermarket, her arms weighed down with bags full of groceries. She was in a rush to get home and prepare a festive dinner for her 40th birthday celebration, where only close friends and their families were invited. Lost in thought, she didn't notice as she stepped off the sidewalk onto the parking lot's roadway. A sudden, forceful jolt from behind knocked her off her feet. The distracted woman fell, her bags crashing to the asphalt beside her, groceries scattering across the lot. Paulina let out a cry of surprise and pain. "Oh, I'm so sorry," a young woman's voice exclaimed. "I don't know how this happened. Where did you even come from?" The shaken driver of the car helped Paulina to her feet, clearly rattled by the incident. "You nearly ran me over. Who even gives people like you a license?" Paulina snapped, rubbing her bruised arm from the fall. "Well, you're not exactly blameless. You could at least look where you're going," the stranger shot back. Paulina glared at him, her eyes blazing. The man softened his tone. "I'm sorry, I was out of line. Please, let me drive you home. I'll clean up the groceries right now." He picked up her bags and began gathering the scattered items. Paulina, calming down, realized she shared some blame in the situation. Her tone softened. "You're probably right. I was lost in thought, and this is the result. If you could give me a ride home, I'd really appreciate it." "I'm Pavel," the man said with a smile, extending his hand. "Polina," she replied, returning a small smile. On the drive to her house, Polina and Pavel struck up an easy conversation. "Your husband's a lucky man," Pavel said. "A beautiful, smart wife like you. I wasn't so lucky. My wife left me with our young daughter. So it's just the two of us now. Do you have kids?" Paulina's expression darkened at the question. The topic of children was a deep wound. Despite years of marriage, she had never been able to become a mother. She wasn't about to discuss it with a stranger. "No, we don't have kids," she answered curtly. "We're here. Thanks for the ride. Goodbye." The car pulled up to the tall gates of a large, beautiful house. "I'm sorry if I upset you," Pavel said, noticing he'd touched a nerve but unsure why. "It's fine, really," Paulina replied. "I've been on edge lately. Thanks again, and happy birthday to you too. I hope all your dreams come true," he called out as she walked away. Paulina quickly unpacked her groceries and began preparing dinner. The dining table was set, and with just a little time left before the guests arrived, she dialed her husband's number. He didn't answer. Paulina sighed heavily. Lately, her husband, Yuri, had been staying late at work, growing irritable when she asked questions, claiming he was swamped with an important project. Over time, Paulina had grown accustomed to his absence, learning to cope with it. The intercom buzzed. Checking the screen, Polina saw her friends Yulia and Dennis, smiling. They'd been close since their college days, the only true friends Polina and her husband had. Yuri preferred to keep their home and lives private, except for these childhood friends. "Polina, you look stunning. It's like you're forever 25. Yulia exclaimed with admiration. "You're gorgeous, Polina. Happy birthday, darling," Dennis said, handing her a beautiful bouquet of flowers. "Where's our workaholic?" "Not here yet. You know how it is with Yuri. Always urgent projects, meetings, business," Polina replied. "I don't know how you put up with it." "Always alone," Yulia said. "Maybe you should get a job. Dennis is looking for a new specialist, and good architects are as hard to find as good surgeons. I remember you were the best in our class." "I'd love to, but you know Yuri would be against it," Polina said. "Polina, I'm sorry, but I have to say it," Yulia continued. "Yuri's being selfish. You're not seeing it, but he's turned you into a housekeeper while he's off who knows where. It's convenient for him. Let's drop it, my dears. I'm so happy to see you. Come, let's eat." "I hope Yuri makes it in time for the main course," Polina said, trying to diffuse the tension as she led her guests to the dining table. Later, after everyone had eaten their fill and was reminiscing about funny college stories, Yuri finally came home. He was serious, offering the guests a polite smile rather than genuine warmth. "Yuri, couldn't you at least come home early today? It's been ages since we've seen you. And it's your wife's birthday. Where are the flowers for the lady of the house?" Yulia couldn't hold back. "Good to see you too. Work doesn't wait." "Dennis gets it," Yuri replied, clearly annoyed by the remark. "I didn't have time to get flowers. I was rushing to get here. Happy birthday, Polina." "Thank you, dear," Polina said, opening a gift box and giving a sad smile. Yuri never put much thought into her gifts, always opting for jewelry, and this time was no different. The mood lightened a bit with Yuri's arrival, but his phone kept buzzing with messages, interrupting the conversation. By the end of the evening, after saying goodbye to their friends, silence fell over the large house. Polina cleared the table while Yuri stayed glued to his phone. When she finished, she turned to him. "Yuri, don't you think that even when you're home, you're not really here? You're always somewhere else in your head." "Polina, don't nag. I'm working," he snapped. "Fine, I get it," she said quietly, turning away to head to the bedroom. Holding back tears, she entered the room and finally let herself cry. Even though she was married, Polina felt utterly alone. Her father had died when she was young, and her relationship with her mother and stepfather had never been close. If not for her friends, she'd be completely isolated. Recalling their earlier conversation, she seriously considered getting a job, not just to fill her time, but to feel less alone. The next morning, Polina woke early to find Yuri already gone. A bad feeling settled in her chest. She knew something was wrong. Leaving the bedroom, she peeked through the slightly open door of Yuri's study and saw him asleep on the guest couch, covered with his jacket. Her heart raced. Something was definitely off with her husband and their marriage, but she couldn't pinpoint what. After showering and getting ready, Polina went downstairs to the living room. Yuri sat in an armchair, staring thoughtfully out the window with a coffee cup in hand. He didn't notice her at first. When she greeted him, he flinched. "You've been acting strange lately. Is everything okay? You slept in your study. You're avoiding me." "Yuri, what's going on? Is it work?" "We need to talk," Yuri said in a flat tone. "I've been wanting to talk too. I know you'll be against it, but I've decided to get a job." "I'm in love with someone else," Yuri interrupted calmly. "She's pregnant, and we're expecting a child." Polina's world spun. She swayed, barely staying on her feet. "How long has this been going on?" "Why?" she stammered. "I found out about the pregnancy yesterday." "If that matters to you," Yuri replied. Tears streamed down Polina's face. "Listen, let's not make a scene," he continued. "I'm 40, Polina. All our friends have grown kids. What we have, I'm finally going to have a son and live happily. We'll discuss the divorce details tonight when I'm back." Yuri left, slamming the door behind him. Polina sank to the floor, sobbing from the pain and humiliation. Later, Yuri decided to visit his mistress, Marina, to tell her he'd confessed everything to his wife and would soon divorce her so they could formalize their relationship. When he arrived at the apartment he rented for Marina, he was surprised to see her packing her things into a large suitcase. "I'm home. Why is no one greeting me? What's going on here? Are we going somewhere?" Yuri asked with a smile. Marina gasped, startled. "Hi, darling. I didn't expect you so early." She wrapped her arms around him and kissed his cheek. "You didn't answer. Are we going somewhere?" Yuri said, spinning her playfully. Marina pouted theatrically. Yuri stopped and looked at her questioningly. "Yes, we're going somewhere. To your beautiful country house where your wife is currently enjoying life." "Darling, I haven't found a place for her to move yet. The apartments I've looked at wouldn't suit her. I can't just throw Polina out on the street," Yuri explained, frowning. Marina ignored his words. "I don't want to hear it. We're a family now, almost 3 of us. She's living it up in that mansion alone. Our baby needs fresh air, and we're stuck breathing this polluted city air, she said, nearly in tears, rubbing her belly for emphasis. You're right. Don't get upset. It's not good for our son, Yuri said, conceding. Polina was so devastated by Yuri's betrayal that she couldn't think straight. She spent half the day on the couch, lost in thought, convincing herself it was all a cruel joke. Yuri's humor was often peculiar. Surely, he'd come home and say it was just a prank. Just a prank, she whispered like a mantra. A phone call snapped her out of it. She didn't want to talk to anyone, but wiping her tears, she glanced at the screen. Her heart pounded. It was Yuri. Swiping to answer, she couldn't speak, her throat tight with emotion. You there? You don't have to say anything, Yuri said. Listen, I've found you an apartment. You need to check it out. Polina hung up without listening to the rest of his nonsense. She felt these matters deserved a face-to-face conversation, not a phone call. Brewing herself some herbal tea, she settled on the cozy terrace of her home, a house she loved dearly. She and Yuri had bought it when they were young, pouring their hearts into making it their own. And now, Yuri acted as if those years meant nothing, casually mentioning he'd found her an apartment. Jerk, Polina hissed, wiping away tears. She tried to pull herself together, but memories of their happy times haunted her. She felt broken, even questioning why she should go on living, facing only emptiness and loneliness. Evening came unnoticed as Polina sat on the terrace, lost in thought. She didn't even hear Yuri return home. He found her and got straight to the point. Polina, what was that? You hang up, don't answer my calls. We're adults. Let's part ways peacefully. I'm not holding you back. Not holding me back, she retorted. You found me an apartment? You go live there. I'm staying in my house, and I'm not clearing out for your mistress. If anything, we'll sell it and split the money. That's fair. Polina, this house is in my mother's name, remember? And it's under a lien, so we can't sell it, Yuri said. Perfect, darling. Now I see why you insisted on putting in your mother's name. So many excuses, always covering your bases, Polina shot back. You know, I sold my apartment years ago and poured everything into this house. I remember, Yuri said. That's why I found you an apartment. Look at it, and we can finalize the deal and the divorce. Stay if you want, but just know, everything in life comes with a price. You'll pay for the pain you've caused me. The next day, Polina went to see the apartment Yuri had picked out. The whole drive, she thought back to the happy times with Yuri, all they'd been through to build their life, their home. She'd sacrificed her career to support him, helping with his complex projects. Now, she couldn't fathom how he could so easily replace her. Polina knew her biggest issue was the ongoing divorce and the painful absence of children. She'd visited countless doctors, taken endless pills, endured injections, all for nothing. The doctors couldn't explain why. After so many years, she and Yuri had no children. Yuri never directly blamed her, but she knew he believed the problem lay with her. It stung deeply. Yuri often spoke of Yulia and Dennis, how happy they were with their growing son. Polina had no response. What could she say? Lost in these heavy thoughts, she didn't notice arriving at her new home. The fifth-floor apartment was spacious and bright, not comparable to her house, but livable. How did it start? And how did it end? Polina whispered. The next day, her bags nearly packed, Polina took only what was hers. Waiting for a taxi, she gave her home a final, wistful look. She'd never found true happiness there. Yuri, what's she doing here? A sharp female voice called out. Polina turned to see a young woman, about 20 years younger than her, beautiful and confident, someone who could pass for Yuri's daughter. Polina's heart sank, but she forced a smile. I'm in my home, dear, Polina said calmly. And by the way, still his legal wife. What are you doing here? That's the real question. No shame, No conscience. Where do people like you even come from? Polina shifted her gaze to Yuri. I told you I didn't want her here before I left. She's not just some girl. She's the mother of my son, Yuri snapped. Polina, stop the hysterics. It won't lead to anything good. Modern people, Polina said, raising her voice. Yuri, you never could read people, and you're wrong now. Look at her. It's like she's got a sign on her forehead, looking for a rich sugar daddy. Yuri frowned but stayed silent. Marina theatrically rolled her eyes and clutched her still flat stomach. Polina couldn't help but laugh. Dear, what's your name again? Sweetie? Yuri. She's a natural actress. Trust me, the surprises in your life are just beginning. A text notification sounded. Her taxi had arrived. Polina grabbed her 2 large suitcases and wheeled them toward the exit. Yuri watched her go, a pang in his heart. For a moment, he wanted to stop the madness unfolding in their lives. But Marina, sensing his hesitation, quickly played her part, drawing his attention back to her. Yuri, darling, my stomach hurts, she whined. You can't get upset. It's bad for the baby. The doctor said rest and calm. Remember? Yuri gently sat her down, reassuring her. Polina left the walls of her once-beloved home, holding herself together until the end. Seeing her husband dote on the woman who destroyed their family was unbearable. In the taxi, she finally let her tears flow. The driver glanced at her in the rearview mirror, concerned. Everything okay? Can I help? I'm sorry, Polina said, wiping her tears. I don't usually cry in public. I just couldn't hold it in anymore. My husband brought his pregnant mistress into our home. That's all. You're a beautiful woman. How could anyone replace you? What an idiot, the driver said. 40? That's nothing. You're in the prime of life. Time to love, live, and thrive. Young women? All they've got is hot air. I'm 67. Trust me, you'll be fine. Your husband will come crawling back. But will you even want him then? Right now, it feels like the end of the world, but soon you'll look back on this with indifference, maybe even laugh. Polina was grateful for the kind words from the stranger. His support sparked a flicker of hope for a brighter future. The first month in her new apartment, Polina settled in. The place was spacious and comfortable, though nothing like the cozy home she'd lived in for years. She might have gone mad with loneliness if not for Yulia and Dennis. Dennis hired her at his firm without hesitation, and slowly she adjusted to her new job, welcomed warmly by a young team. When Polina received her first paycheck in years, her joy was boundless. She bought essential appliances to make her apartment more comfortable. Yulia visited often, and Dennis cut off contact with Yuri after learning of his betrayal, refusing to condone it. One evening, Polina stayed late at work on an urgent project they were struggling to finish for a client. Dennis was convinced they'd lose the contract, but Polina, drawing on her college training, worked tirelessly and saved the day, leaving the completed project on Dennis's desk. It was cold and rainy outside as she left the office, her coat offering little protection. Ugh, I should have called a taxi, she muttered. Looking around, she spotted headlights across the street. The road was empty, so she skipped the crosswalk and started crossing the 4-lane road. A car suddenly appeared around a corner, its lights blinding her. A sharp jolt knocked her down. Are you crazy? Trying to get yourself killed? A man's voice shouted as the driver stepped out. You're the crazy one. Watch where you're driving. Polina snapped back, knowing she was in the wrong. Oh, you again. She heard a familiar, teasing voice. The headlights still blinded her, but the voice rang a bell. Give me your hand. I'll help you up, the man said. Thanks, you've helped enough, Polina retorted. Scraped knees, hands, a scratch on my face. And I have to present a project to a client tomorrow. What will they think? Tell them the truth. That you're a reckless woman throwing herself under cars, the driver quipped. Now, either get in the car and I'll drive you home, or clear the road. I'm in a hurry. Fine, fine. I'm in no shape to argue. Drive me home. Since you hit me, Polina said, brushing herself off and sliding into the passenger seat. When the driver turned to her, she gasped. Pavel, that's me. And you're Polina, he said, laughing. What are the odds getting hit by the same car twice in a few months? Polina gave a sad smile. A lot's changed in my life. I live at 45 Pravda Street now. You know, the new buildings? I know it. Looks like we're neighbors, Pavel said, smiling. Sorry to pry, but why'd you move from that house to an apartment? My daughter and I dream of fresh air. I got divorced. My husband bought me this apartment, so I moved, Polina replied. Mind if I ask what caused the divorce? You seem like a happy family not long ago, Pavel said. It's simple. I couldn't give my husband children, but his mistress got pregnant. Now, they're living in my house, enjoying life, and I'm in an apartment, Polina said. Does that satisfy your curiosity? Can we be quiet now? I have a big day at work tomorrow. I'm sorry, Polina. I didn't realize, Pavel said. They drove the rest of the way in silence. At her building, he smiled. We're neighbors. I live across the street. I hope this isn't our last meeting, but maybe next time under better circumstances. Polina smiled back. I hope so too. She barely slept that night, thinking about work, the project, and Pavel. He was handsome, easy to talk to, and she caught herself hoping to see him again under better circumstances. The next morning, she overslept, horrified when she glanced at the clock. Rushing around her apartment, she dressed, applied minimal makeup, and tied her hair into a tight bun. Cursing herself for not calling a taxi, she ran outside. Good morning, neighbor, a familiar voice called. Turning, she sighed in relief. Pavel, save me. I'm late for an important meeting. I worked late on a project that could make or break my career. My boss says the client's picky, and I'm the only one who can convince them our project's the right fit, she explained as she hurried to his car. How can I say no to a beautiful woman? Though I'm rushing to a meeting myself, Pavel said. It's not far. Will you hit me yesterday, remember? Polina looked at him pleadingly, and he noted her natural beauty, even with minimal makeup. All right, but on one condition. We drop the formalities, he said. Deal. Let's go. Polina laughed. Parking the car, Pavel muttered, so much energy, positivity, warmth, amazing. He headed into the office building while Polina rushed to Dennis's office. Dennis, did you see the project? I did everything I could and more. The construction's near a river, so I solved the flooding issue like this, she said, grabbing a pencil to show him on the blueprints. Dennis stared in awe. Polina, your miracle. You did in one night what my best people couldn't figure out. The client's delayed, but it's all on you to present. Hearing a familiar voice, Polina turned. Pavel, what are you doing here? What a pleasant surprise. I guess I'm that picky client you stayed up late for, Pavel said, smiling. Dennis tensed but relaxed, seeing their friendly vibe. Good morning, Pavel Borisovich. You know our Polina, he said, shaking hands. Good morning, Dennis Alexandrovich. Yes, we're neighbors, Pavel replied. I'm sure I'll love the project. Polina, please. The meeting went smoothly, with Pavel impressed by Polina's professionalism. I went to another firm with this issue, but their project failed. They couldn't solve the seasonal flooding problem. You did it, Polina. It wasn't just me. Our whole team worked on the dream house project, she said modestly. I love it, Pavel said. Polina, I'd like to invite you to the site where the house will be built to discuss some details. Tomorrow work for you. Polina glanced at Dennis, who smiled. You and the client have great chemistry. Congrats, Polina. You're leading this project to the end. Polina was in high spirits all day. Her life was slowly coming together. She rarely thought of Yuri, now truly her ex-husband. Her friends noticed the way she looked at Pavel. and he didn't hide his admiration for her. Dennis, wanting the best for her, trusted her with the project, knowing how much it meant to her. At the end of the day, Polina stepped out of the office, looking around, half expecting to see Pavel. "What are you, 20?" She laughed at herself, heading to the crosswalk this time. The next morning, as agreed, Polina waited for Pavel. He was 30 minutes late, and she hated tardiness. Spotting him, she huffed, "Pavel, I've been standing in the rain for half an hour." "I'm so sorry," he said. "My daughter's sick. She had a fever last night. I didn't have your number to warn you. Our trip's canceled. Is she okay?" Polina asked, softening. "I could use your help. I don't want to leave her alone. I need to run to the pharmacy. How about you go home, and I'll handle it? Give me your number. Call me anytime you need anything," Pavel said. Polina gave him her number and offered to pick up what he needed. 15 minutes later, she stood at Pavel's door with a bag of fruit and medicine. "You're quick," he said, inviting her in. "Take off your coat. You're soaked. I don't want you getting sick too." His apartment was modest, surprising Polina given the budget for his house project. Over tea, they talked at length, including about his 5-year-old daughter, Eva, who was born healthy but diagnosed with a congenital heart condition. After a successful operation at 1 year old, she had an asthma attack a year later. Despite countless doctor visits, no one could fully cure her. Doctors recommended fresh air and a change of scenery, which inspired Pavel's dream house project. "What do you do? It must be hard raising her alone," Polina asked. "It's tough, especially when she's sick. I'm terrified of another attack. When she's well, she goes to daycare, and I work as a mechanic at an auto shop. I manage, but I can't afford to fall behind. She depends on me. We're excited for the house. My friend from childhood has a sawmill near the site and wants me to join him. The house is Eva's idea. She named it Dream House." Polina was amazed. "You know the timber business? My father ran a woodworking business. It was profitable. I grew up in it. After my mother died, my father sold everything and moved on with another woman. I got a chunk of money and the riverside land. I studied forestry at an agricultural university, but became a mechanic since my skills weren't in demand here. I plan to move out of the city and do what I love." Polina admired his sincerity, humor, and care for Eva. They were so engrossed in conversation that they didn't notice Eva walk in. "Daddy, who's this lady?" "My love, how are you feeling?" Pavel said, smiling. "Come here, meet my friend Polina, our neighbor. She came to help when she heard you were sick." "Hi, Polina, I'm Button," Eva said. "She must like you." "Button's a nickname for close friends," Pavel explained. "It's so nice to meet you, Button. You're such a sweet, beautiful girl," Polina said warmly. "You're beautiful too. Do you have a button?" Eva asked, curious. "No, sadly, but I'd love a smart girl like you," Polina replied sincerely. "How about we order pizza and watch a movie? It's an unexpected day off," Pavel suggested. Eva clapped excitedly. "Will Polina stay? If you'll have me, I'd love to join," Polina said, ruffling Eva's curls. The girl leaned into her, resting her head on Polina's shoulder, touching her with her warmth and openness. From that day, a true friendship blossomed between Polina and Pavel. Eva was thrilled to have Polina around often. They played board games, watched educational animal films, and visited parks and zoos. Within a month, Polina couldn't imagine life without Pavel and Eva, just as they couldn't imagine theirs without her. The dream house construction progressed rapidly. Polina took on another complex project from Dennis and excelled, earning her colleagues' respect. They often sought her advice, and she never refused to help. One day, Dennis seemed off. Polina noticed and decided to check on him. "Hey, can I make some coffee?" she asked, entering his office with a cup. "Polina, come in." "You're always welcome," Dennis smiled. "Something's wrong. You're upset." "I can tell," she said. "You're right. Remember the money Yuri lent me? He's having business troubles, and Marina had a son. He's demanding I repay early. And that's not all. He says he won't keep paying the credit for your apartment. He's got his own family now. Of course, Polina said. I was shocked the apartment was on credit, but I've been paying the bank regularly. I don't get how he can do this after all we went through. I sold my place and put everything into the house he's living in with her. I'd love to punch him, but he's too cowardly to meet. He just wants the money wired. I'll manage, Polina said. The apartment's in my name. I'm earning well, and I have a great boss. I've learned my lesson. Young and naive, I never thought it'd end like this. He's got his son now, his priorities. You're still making excuses for him, Dennis said. Yulia and I will help. Our firm's reputation has soared thanks to you, so I'm giving you a well-deserved raise. Thanks, dear. Can I leave early today? Everything's done, and I need to pick up a birthday gift for Eva. Pavel and I chose it. Pavel and I, huh? Dennis teased. Is it serious? I don't know. Yulia says to trust fate. Pavel's a good man, and Button's a gem. They brought me back to life. My eyes are shining again. Don't let this chance slip, Yulia says. She's right. Trust fate, Dennis said. I'm so glad we're here for you, or you'd have gone mad from loneliness. A year later, Dennis marveled at the dream house. You guys did an amazing job. Polina, you nailed the river flooding issue. When are you moving in? When the time's right, Polina said, patting her rounded belly. Pavel hugged his wife and kissed her cheek. We're finishing the interior. We'll stay in the city until the baby's born, then decide. Eva's starting school, so it's better in the city for now. Young family, well done, Dennis said. I'm thrilled for you. Polina, you're proof happiness is possible. Pavel, I'm here if you need help. Thanks, Dennis. I'll need it, Pavel said. I'm diving into woodworking. While Eva and the baby grow, I'll set up production here. My friend Slava Sawmill will supply us. Amazing. But I'm not letting Polina go, Dennis laughed. I'm not leaving, Polina said. You and Yulia have done so much for me. I love my job, and the money's helpful. Dennis patted her shoulder, and Pavel clapped his friends. Let's go to Yulia. She's with the kids. Eva and Petya are playing, and Yulia is setting the table. Polina's life, once that of a betrayed woman, was coming together. Dennis's firm lawyer sorted out the apartment issue, and with her solid income, Polina kept up with the credit payments. She lived with Pavel and Eva as the lady of their home. They married 6 months after meeting, and Eva was overjoyed to have a mom like her friends. Polina became a true mother to her, their bond warm and trusting. Pavel adored his wife and valued her role in raising Eva, who was excited about a new sibling. Together, they shopped for baby supplies. Polina couldn't imagine another life. One day, when Pavel was away on business, she went for a routine prenatal checkup, leaving Eva with Yulia. The doctor confirmed the baby was developing perfectly, with no issues despite Polina's age. Elated, she stopped by a mall to pick out gifts for Eva and Petya. But there, she ran into Yuri, who froze upon seeing her pregnant. Hi, this doesn't concern you, Polina said coldly. I heard you had a son. Congrats. I'm not thrilled to see you. Goodbye, Yuri. She walked away, leaving Yuri stunned, watching her go. At home, his son ran to greet him while Marina sat on the couch, engrossed in her phone. Hi, wife. Dinner? Yuri asked. Marina shot him an annoyed look. I asked you to send me money. Did you forget? Is that all you have to say? You've been acting strange, Yuri said. I'm not strange. I just don't like when you ignore my requests, she replied. Requests? More like demands. I'm having work troubles, Yuri said. You were married to someone who managed things better. Look how that ended. I need a new wardrobe. I don't want to be a frump like her, Marina snapped. Don't you dare talk about Polina. You're not worth her little finger. If it weren't for our son, Yuri stopped, taking the boy to the playroom. Marina, realizing she'd gone too far, went to the kitchen to make dinner. Yuri tried to focus on his son, but the boy's innocent chatter about eating ice cream and walking with Uncle planted doubts. Later, Yuri casually asked Marina what they'd done that day. Her vague response, that nothing special happened, didn't sit right. That night, Yuri couldn't stop thinking about Polina, how radiant she looked pregnant. The thought of her happiness with another man sparked irrational jealousy. The next day, instead of going to work, he followed Marina after sending her the money she'd asked for. To his shock, she didn't go shopping but took their son to a residential area, entering an apartment building. She emerged hours later, accompanied by a young man carrying their son. Furious but composed, Yuri held back, determined to uncover the truth. Meanwhile, Polina, Pavel, and their friends planned to spend the weekend at the finished dream house. Polina ran to her apartment to water her plants, taking Eva along. A knock at the door didn't surprise her. She assumed it was Pavel. "Button, check who's there," she called to Eva. "It's not Daddy," Eva said, calling Polina over. Peering through the peephole, Polina was stunned to see Yuri. "Yuri, why are you here?" she asked, opening the door. "I'm an idiot. Forgive me. I was so wrong. Let's start over," Yuri pleaded. Polina glanced at Eva and smiled. "Button, check if we watered all the plants. I need a moment with this person." Eva nodded and left. "Yuri, are you out of your mind? I have a new life. I'm expecting a child with a man I love. You once said you were finally happy, that you'd have a son. Now I understand what you meant. I'm happy, Yuri. I have a daughter, and soon another child. I don't love you anymore. I'll let you go." "No, Polina, you can't," Yuri said. "I'm divorcing Marina. She lied to me. The boy isn't mine. She's been taking him to his real father, living off my money. I'm alone. Come back to our house. I'll love your child like my own. Now you know how I felt when you betrayed me," Polina said. "I was a loyal wife. You destroyed everything. It wasn't my fault we didn't have kids. You got what you wanted, Yuri. Karma caught up. I'm never coming back. Leave and don't come here again." Yuri was desperate. The door swung open, and Pavel appeared, having overheard the conversation. "Everything okay, darling? You and Button were gone a while. Dennis and Yulia are here. Petty is eager to see her." He glared at Yuri. "What are you doing here? This apartment's mine. I have rights," Yuri said. "This is my wife's apartment," Pavel snapped. "You forgot what it means to be a man. What rights do you think you have?" "Yuri, go." "It's over," Polina said. Yuri's eyes welled up. "I'm sorry, Polina. Take care of her. She's one of a kind," he said to Pavel before leaving. "I won't let her go," Pavel replied coldly, closing the door. "You okay?" he asked Polina. "I'm fine," she said, melting into his embrace. "Button, time to go," she called, and the three headed to their dream house. As the happy family left, chatting and laughing, they didn't notice Yuri watching from a car across the street, gripping the wheel, staring at the family he'd never have. 3 years later, by the river in their cozy paradise, the dream house buzzed with life. As usual, friends gathered for a joyful weekend. Pavel and Dennis manned the grill. Petya helped Eva teach her little brother, Bogdan, to ride a tricycle, while Polina and Yulia lounged by the river. "I look at them and can't believe my happiness," Polina said. "I can't imagine life without them." "You earned this, Polina," Yulia said. "I'm a bit jealous in a good way. Every day with you and Pavel is like a honeymoon. He'd move mountains for you." "You're right," Polina said. "Pavel's amazing. His business is thriving. I'm finishing your dream house project, so we'll be neighbors, living and raising our families together." The men called them to the table. Dennis grinned at Pavel. "We're lucky, man." They exchanged looks, and the women laughed happily. Polina became Eva's true mother, never favoring her son, Bogdan, over her. Pavel was grateful for her devotion. Polina thanked fate for the good and bad, knowing now what a real family meant. Joy, love, and a life transformed when she least expected it. Every meeting had a purpose, and she'd learned to read fate's signs, seizing her happiness. Each day, watching Pavel play with the kids, their laughter filling the air, Polina thanked God for her second chance at a joyful, carefree future. She was loved, and she loved in return. At 40, she knew life was just beginning. Thank you for listening to the story until the end. Subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends and loved ones. It motivates us to keep working on new stories every day. Don't miss the next amazing story that's about to appear on your screen. We're very grateful to have you with us. See you soon.